And then let me silently move because the thing is too is not everybody needs to know what you're working on or what you're doing. And when they look up, and that's the thing that gets me too. I love to hit on this. When people be like, they are overnight success. They ain't no such thing.
Welcome to Surviving and Thriving, the Black Experience. Here, we talk about the real adversities Black Americans face while navigating corporate spaces, educational institutions, and the justice system. We name the pressures, expose the barriers, and share strategies to help you adapt, endure, and move forward while protecting your peace. So, let's get into today's discussion. So, we're going to go ahead and hop into fatherhood. So, how has fatherhood and or the idea of fatherhood changed the way you see the world now? So I know you have a beautiful
Ooh,
daughter. So yeah, let's just
yeah,
hop into this.
man. My little we I call her Daddy's baby,
Hmm.
but everybody calls her Junior because she is a daddy's girl. Man, that's my baby. She's just been the love of my life
Hmm.
from the time she was in her mother's womb until now at being 25. Man, she just I
Hmm.
learned so much from her. She's a great teacher. And one of the things that I've learned, because there were times in her life where I was like how do you say this, the primary care. I became her primary caretaker for about a good 5 years,
Hmm.
you know. And one of the things, of course, like as being a parent, one of the things in parenting, we take from our parents and
Hmm.
we'll be like, oh, I'll raise this child like this and this, that, and the other. But no, I learned from just fathering her is that I have to learn to grow with her. And I've had to learn to grow with her because, she's got her own mind. She has her own way of thinking and own way of doing things. And instead of trying to control that, I've learned that, okay, you know what? This is how she thinks. This is how she feels. This is how she moves. How can I support her in her growth? How can I support her with her expansion? And we just have just a beautiful relationship. It's my baby, man.
And what's your beautiful daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Naki,
Aki.
and
Hmm.
her name it's West African, and it means firstborn female child. As she's the only born female child, she's my only child.
Okay. I had to make sure we had that name pronounced correctly and
Yeah,
the beautiful meaning of her beautiful name. And it
yeah,
sounds like what you were saying, I'm about to say you're literally walking in truth and purpose yourself because something you were saying that resonated in your relationship, of course, with your wife and relationships like within your corporate space as well, and with Naki as well, is understanding because you took the
yeah.
time to understand the feelings and the different emotions that her as a young lady that she's going through and or had to navigate. So that's amazing. I love hearing a Black man say they care about their daughters. It ain't nothing like it.
I'll tell you one of the things that at the time when, you know, because here's the thing, like, and this is what I've learned. I'm not judging people. We're all, I think it was either Socrates or Plato who said, be kind because we're all facing a hard battle or we're all living a hard battle.
Mhm.
Um, I may be saying that wrong, but it was either Socrates or Plato who said that. And when I became the, primary caretaker, I'm like, wait a second. I'm a man. We got two different anatomies.
Mm-hmm.
We
That's
night and day from each other.
right.
I need to keep you around women.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like being around women and like seeing qualities in them. I don't know nothing about being no woman. Zero. I mean, we don't share the same
That's
experience.
zero.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I think for men and women, we have to think about that. Uh, is that like we're opposite from each other. Now, I can pour into you values, how to enrich your life, attributes, things of that nature, and you can develop those as well. But I kept my daughter, man, around my sisters, female friends that I was not having intimate relationships with. They
Mhm.
just good friends, and I
Mhm.
think that's very important. Having just friends who poured into my daughter, man, and children remember everything as
Mhm.
we do, but my daughter remembers those things. And again, being 25 now, being pretty self sufficient,
Mhm.
she'll bring, Daddy, do you remember when to hang out with so and so? They come by, pick me up, or I'm like, you remember that? Like
Mhm.
I've forgotten all about it because at a time, even to, and I love the name of your program is surviving and thriving. I was I was trying to survive. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
So it was like being in survival mode is like she needs this, I gotta do this. Okay, when she goes here for the weekend, or if her mom comes in town, she's gonna be with her mom for 2 days. I need to do this, I need to prepare this. So it's just go, 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 go. And I wasn't sitting back and just kind of like, oh God. No, it was just going. So now when she brings things to my attention, and it was just me, just my desire was just to give her the best life,
Mhm.
especially in her youth. Uh, and for her to bring these things up now, Dad, you remember when you used to do this and we used to, and I'm like, you remember that, man?
Mhm.
Like, baby girl, you have no idea. I was on the struggle bus. And but Dad, I never saw that. I didn't know that. It's like in children, we pick up. We're feeling beings, right?
Mhm.
That's just in general across the board. But children, before being programmed, have this, this way of connecting,
Mhm.
being like understanding, oh, something's going on with mom, something going on with daddy.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I got to manage this. She can't until we got to a place where I'm like, oh, dang, we thriving. Now we
Mhm.
good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So, all right, baby girl, we do it. But those things when I was not necessarily living, but just striving to I was struggling, you
Mhm.
know. Now that she brings those things to my attention, Candice, I'm telling you, man, I just be like, and then sometimes I turn my head and I cry,
Mhm.
you know. And that's the thing, even as a man, like I don't know what it is with getting older. We get, you see something, you just be like, man, what the heck is going on?
Is that water coming from my
Yeah.
tear duct?
Drip, drip. Wait, we ain't doing that. NASA.
No.
But no, I love that she can bring up things and she can recall things and
Yes.
be like, yeah, that it does. And even as a 46-year-old man, now it makes me feel good because I'm like, man, I just want to see you in the best place in life from a man to a female.
All right. What do you think gets missed in conversations about Black fathers that deserves more truth and or nuance too?
That black fathers aren't there and they don't show up, man. It's so funny. I've seen and and every experience is different, man. But when there's a collective of collective experiences or people, saying black men aren't there, maybe it's just the people you around. Because all the black people I know, I
Mhm.
mean the brothers that I know,
Mhm.
man, we don't play about our kids. Even if they're not in the child's life, I mean the mother's life, like they don't have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're not
Like
together.
co-parenting, yeah.
Yeah, like they're there. Like, man, hey, bro, like, I know we said we was gonna do so and so this weekend. We're gonna talk. I gotta go pick up. Man, bye. Go handle your business. And I remember seeing this video, because the thing is, media, MAGA,
Mhm.
is magic. It's a spell. It will. You watch something and it's programming you. And when you hear and oh, black men aren't doing this, black men aren't doing that, it's like, wait a second. No, that's not true. I remember seeing this video where I don't know if it was maybe it wasn't in Texas or Oklahoma, it was somewhere south, I believe, where all these brothers showed up for their kids
Mhm.
at the school and they were walking
The
in. I'm
walk, I was
like,
like the walk, yep.
don't tell me no. I know
Mhm.
and I love this too. My wife and I've been married going on. Man, 10 years this year, Candice. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
Time has gone by so fast. We laugh and joke about it. Like, man, we've been together almost 10 years, player. But for her, even, she talks about what she's seen. And she's like, wow, man, like all these men that are around you,
Hmm.
like they handling business. I'm like, yeah. And
Hmm.
I believe it's just it's I believe and think that it's what what they see. If you grow up seeing something or you see more of something in your life,
Hmm.
then you tend to believe that, because belief is a habit of thought, and then perspective there too. So it's like, if you see this, then you looking for other people who don't, other black men who don't. But if you see it, then like look for brothers that are in their kids' lives. Look for those. Yeah, man. Every man that's in my life, even cousins,
Hmm.
even if the mother they were married, but they divorced, but they're co-parenting or not. Man, when it comes to their kids, they do not play. I'm the same way. When it comes to my daughter, man, I just wanted to make sure because I know it's wolves out here, man. And when I say wolves, I'm speaking not just of other men who they come into these young ladies' lives, man. Even though they didn't have a male parental figure there, even if it was uncles or whatnot being it, man, these men come along and they take advantage of these young girls, man. And the thing is with that, I thought about that for my daughter, even growing up, and even women around me, creating a safe space. It's like, nah, not every brother trying to sleep with you. No,
Hmm.
let me look. When you and I are together, when we've been like, look, when we a lot of y'all don't know, we graduated from the same
We did.
yeah, we and from our graduation, we stood outside, we talked, man. It was such a beautiful. That's why we here now.
Mhm.
It was such a beautiful conversation. And at the end of the day, what I want to create for you, Candice,
Mhm.
is a safe space.
Mhm.
Is a safe space, and can't no woman ever say that I haven't.
Exactly. I'm about to say Grover definitely creates a safe space for conversations for you to let all the waterworks, okay,
Let it out,
to let it out and don't want nothing from you.
because at the end of the day, I'm coming home, my
You
wife,
got a whole wife, okay?
a whole wife that's like 4'9". She say she 5 feet. She 4'9". You ain't no five. You ain't no
Absolutely
five.
beautiful. Who don't be playing about Grover. Okay.
Hey, look, I'm gonna throw this out here. My wife from East St. Louis. Okay, that
Period. Period.
about that. I be like, man, I tease her about it, and people, I be like, man, my wife from East St. Louis. We good. I'm good.
I'm she ain't worried about nothing. She ain't worried
Right.
about nothing.
And she crazy about her husband. So, even having that, man, having my
Mhm.
wife and daughter crazy about me, man. It's like
Mhm.
that does something to you as a man. Like they tell me all the time, and I you can do this and you can do that. I'm like, y'all act like I'm Superman. And but then again, there's a part of me that's like, wow, they look at me as this figure, they look at me as a man, and they trust me. So for them to even put that kind of trust in me and that kind of love, it's like that's one word, inspiration. That
Mhm.
in turn, I want to make sure y'all good, whatever that is, and that's all standing on my word and in my actions as well.
What's a lesson that you're intentional about passing down to your daughter because no one taught you it?
Ooh, because no one taught me that. It's funny because I think about the conversations that parents and folks around me had, intentional about the lesson, things that I've learned. No one taught me. Oh, okay. Um, Man, you got me,
I'm
Candace,
gonna
on
say,
this.
I'll say, ah.
Can we do this? Can I reframe it though? Can I
Yes,
reframe it
yes.
on the lessons that I teach my daughter from mistakes that I've made?
Okay.
How about this? Or not even let's not even mistakes that I made, but I live by. And I have passed this along to her. She knows it to a T now.
Okay.
I live by these two things. Besides, certain qualities and characteristics. But my baby girl will hear me. I'm like, we live by these two things, baby girl. And I've taught her this for a long time, especially since she got older. I said, look, take care of business first,
Mm-hmm.
make moves in silence. The make moves in silence part is where um, it hurt me in some way because I had to learn that even though my parents would tell me, especially my, don't tell everybody all your business. Don't tell everybody what you're doing. If you do, don't go into detail. Just, hey, you're working on things. And I'm like, okay, so I had to learn that. I've learned to navigate through that um, a little painfully. Now, I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten it down now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this thing where I walk up to her and I'll be like, baby girl, what needs to be taken care of first? She'll be like, business. And I'm like, and what do we do? Make moves in silence, Dad. So now it's like, and that taking care of business first means that you know what needs to be done. You know what needs to be taken care of. You go to work, you be at work on time. She's in school, she graduates at the end of this month.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, man. She's graduating college this month, so I'm proud father there, and it's like you got schoolwork that needs to be done before you go hang out, before you go kick it, before you go to the bar, before you go have a drink somewhere, before you do anything. Business needs to be taken care of first,
Yep.
and I live by that. And especially you and I as
Yep.
entrepreneurs no, this needs to be taken care of first before I go sit and, play Angry Birds or something. I'm just throwing that out there, whatever. And then at the same
Angry
rate,
Birds.
right? I know
Maybe
that,
Candy Crush. Maybe Candy Crush.
right? And then let me silently move because the thing is too is not everybody needs to know what you're working on or what you're doing. And when they look up. And that's the thing that gets me too. I love to hit on this. When people be like, they are overnight success. They ain't no such thing. When they was behind closed doors with their head down, getting it in, and then all of a sudden you like, boom, where they come from? That last 10 years is what they've been doing. They've been getting it in, they've been grinding. So now this is the payoff for them. Where you see them in the public eye, where you see all the success and accolades and the prosperity that are taking place in their lives. So it's like, y'all take care of business first and make moves in silence. Move silently. That's it. So that's what I've learned over the years, and that was some painful learning experience that I passed along to my daughter. So I guess you could say I am intentional about that, and that is a mistake that I've had to learn from.
Okay. You talk about intentionality, and I want to touch base on something that I know we talked a little bit specifically about, but can you tell me about what was the hardest part of raising your daughter alone?
Yes. I, mm, as a parent, I'm thinking back, and I would be asking myself, even in the time of when it was just her and I'm teaching these lessons about uh, being consistent in the right thing. It's like you don't think that they're listening.
Mhm.
Uh, but my daughter was like you don't realize it's like a sponge, and a lot of times with parenting, even for me, what I think is they don't listen, but they imitate. You know, so it was just what was challenging at times is just showing this like, is she getting it? Is she getting it? I'm teaching these lessons. Is she learning these lessons? Uh, and then one day I look up and I'm like, oh, she's got it. You know, but it was. I'll say the challenging parts was that it was just teaching the lessons and just hoping. Like man, I hope she gets this. You know, uh, I hope that what I'm showing her she appreciates one day, which I get now. She always, Daddy, thank you. Thank you. I love you so much for everything you've done, everything you keep doing. I'm like, wow, okay. But that was the, and then another part of that before we went from, where we were to really thriving was, does she have everything she needs? Yeah, does she, questioning myself, and having these sometimes doubtful thoughts, and realizing, oh, nope, erase, cancel. These are things that I say even now when some cancel, erase, avoid, keep going. You gotta, talking to myself, but just ensuring that she was in a good, healthy mental place. That was those were some of the challenges. So after her mom and I, went our separate ways, one of the things I started doing with my daughter was I sent her straight to therapy. So that, Candice, let me tell you, that first therapy session, we talk about it, we laugh about it to this day. She was
Mm-hmm.
11 years old. She was like, I mean, all the way
Mm-hmm.
from the house to Central West End where we were seeing the therapist. Well, I'm from St. Louis, y'all. So if I was in Central West End, and I'm like, man, you got to do this. This is gonna be good for you. That, I mean, tantrum, and I'm just sitting there letting her have it, man. And we get inside, and she's so resistant
Mm-hmm.
and angry. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what I don't want. She's 11, 12, 11 years old. And I'm like, I don't want her in this space at 23, 24, 25, 30
Yeah.
something, holding on to this anger and resentment, or, because children hold too. Children are holding. And I remember we went in there, and then the therapist put that white noise outside us so I couldn't hear. And that little young lady walked out after that hour session, and she gave me, she said, thank you, Daddy. I was like, she's like, yeah, thank you, Daddy. And I talked to the therapist real quick. We got in the car. She's like, I really needed that. And from that moment on, from 11, 12 years old, she's been going to the therapist on her own by herself. She makes her own appointments.
Amen to that. Because
I'm
mental
like,
health
what
is important. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is, man? She would, hey, Dad, I'm calling my therapist. I got a therapist session. We gotta hang out later. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
Handle
Even
your
with good
business.
things that's going on, like, and so yeah, man, it's like those things that was challenging. Like, I just want to make sure good headspace. And it's thinking of the future. Is like what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Those very, what the dynamic of the relationship between her mother and I, how I didn't want that to impact her, but I'm like, and I would take it. I would tell everybody this: take inspired action.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever focus on what you don't want, because where worry is a prayer that you don't want to come into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on what you desire,
Yep.
and take inspired action from there.
Look around today's classrooms. Screens are everywhere: tablets, iPads, and even smartboards. Technology is moving faster than ever before. But in a classroom full of screens, something important is slowly being forgotten: the simple magic of opening a book and seeing yourself inside the story. I wrote the Forgotten Page to remind children that books still matter and that every child deserves to see themselves represented in stories they read. This heartwarming story follows Paige, a book who feels forgotten when technology begins to replace reading in the classroom, until children rediscover the power of turning real pages. The Forgotten Page is available on Amazon in English and in Spanish for classrooms, libraries, and families who believe in the power of stories. Because sometimes the stories we almost forget are the ones children need the most.
And that action of sending her to therapy, I didn't know what I was doing, man. A lot of our parents, you don't know what you're doing. You just, you know what I'm saying? We know. Let me try this. Let me try that. And you see the payoff later. So,
I appreciate your honesty with that, of like literally somebody finally just saying, I ain't know. Like I didn't know what to do. Me and her mother were no longer together. I got a daughter. I love her. She's from my, from my loin. Like I care about her, but I don't know what I don't know it. She's having a tantrum right now. All I'm trying to do is what I think
Yeah,
is best.
yeah,
And as you said, you really touch point on something really, really important. You said it's better to get it, right? When she's holding it as a
yeah.
child and get it out versus them holding it for so many years and then it being represented when they get older. Because then what do you do at that point?
I've
You
seen
put,
it, Candice. I've
oh
seen
yeah.
it in my own family. Their resentment of
Mm-hmm.
a situation or an experience that happened, there was no clarity there.
Mm-hmm.
It was not never talked about. But here, this individual still holding on to it, and not a 60, 70 years old, still angry at the world, still angry at everybody around them. And that's the thing. That's how we learn, man. You know, we either learn by seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my siblings and people around me experience stuff and be like, no, I don't want that. And
Mm-hmm.
then having these experiences myself and being like, man, dude, like, am I 30 some years old still holding on to this situation that happened? It happens. Let's
All the
address it
time. Mm-hmm.
all the time, man. And here we taking this into all of our relationships because we got to remember, as within, so without. So whatever you holding on to, it's coming outside of you, pictured 3D. So all these not so great experiences, you know, we're creating them by holding on to this anger, holding on to this resentment, and and this resentment is like it doesn't do anything good or bad for anybody outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's for it tears you up. Resentment is like, poison, pouring poison in a cup for somebody else, but you drinking it yourself.
Yeah.
You
That
know what
part,
I'm saying?
that part right there. It's a book called a book and or also a saying for what you're saying right there. I think it's called The Body Keeps Score.
That's a great book.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel like it directly aligns in regards to that. So you're holding all this. So I will say in the Black community and in different spaces that I've been within. So I won't speak for all, but I'll say quite a
Mm-hmm.
few. That word resentment.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, people will hold on to something for dear life, hold on to anger, hold on to
Yes.
all these different things. It is not affecting the person that you are angry with.
That's
That
right.
is that is not how that go. That person goes on with their life. That person sit here and literally don't. If it is on their mind, they know how to put it to the side. You need to work on healing yourself.
Man.
And healing
Yes.
yourself is not just the concept of, oh, just letting go, but it's letting go and let God. Let God go
Man.
ahead and handle that situation. Let him
Yes.
go ahead and fix it. But
Yes.
also being strong enough that when you are in those spaces where those stories are supposed to be quiet or we don't really talk about that, when you get to that point of, yes, we are going to talk about this. And guess what?
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk, you can just sit and listen. Here's
Yeah.
how I feel about this. It is
Yeah.
okay to do that. As a grown woman who's 35 now, I have to
Okay.
do that with several people in my life. And my
Yeah.
relationship with those people have changed because they know how
Mhm.
to move around me now. If you want people to respect you and respect your boundaries and such, then you have to create them.
You got to teach people how
But
to treat you.
you got to, there you go. That right there. Let the church say yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
amen.
amen.
Yes.
Hallelujah. That's something that I learned over the years, especially coming from a big family. And then
Hmm.
even going through therapy myself. And I'm a reader. I love reading. I read tons of books. And the B word, boundaries. We
Hmm.
got to learn to set boundaries, first of all, for ourselves, because there's these internal boundaries that we set, and then
Hmm.
these external that show up external. Because way we treat ourselves, man, we are the foundation of everything in our lives.
Yes, we are.
Everything, the foundation. So learning to show up for myself in ways and learning to show up for ourselves in ways and learning to love ourselves, and even through the things that we've been through, healing is Healing is a journey, not a one-time event, y'all. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's processes to healing. It's a journey. But even through that, in learning to love ourselves, that's become cliche these days. I mean, it's a cliche term. Love yourself. But it's so true. We
Mm-hmm.
have to work on one of the books that I just finished reading. I'm a huge all of the people that I'm into, Candice, I call them like that would be like a big cousin. That would be like that would be like a big brother to me. Like, even though she's white, her name's Louise Hay. And
Mm-hmm.
I love Louise Hay. She
Mm-hmm.
and I have a long relationship. I just finished reading her book, You Can Heal Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That book right there put some things in perspective for me at 46. Because I ain't never too old to not learn, never too old to not having the willingness to work on myself. One of the things that affirmations that she talks about there, and it's saying to yourself, and I say it daily, I am willing to change. I am willing to change. Even when we talk about that whole resentment and being angry at the world, we often look outside for people to change in order for us to make us feel better. And we are fooled if we think that that's going to happen. But when I'm willing to change. What is that? Change me, oh Lord,
Mm-hmm.
right? What about look at myself? What is it that I can change? One of my another favorite um, authors and speakers, Rev, the good Reverend Doctor is what I call him,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Bernard Beck. He said something, and I use this even in my mentoring and coaching in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Man, think about inertia that you may be facing or an experience that doesn't feel so good. Ask yourself this question. If I were to face this experience for the rest of my life, what type of qualities would I need?" Asking questions. And it's like, man, you know what? If I were to face this for the rest of my life, again, this is turning it on me, because
Mm-hmm.
it's about me. I would need patience. I would need kindness. Okay, how do I go after getting those things? How do I asking how and why? Those are empowering questions. And when you ask an empowering question, you will get an answer. Always, depending on if you want to ignore it or not. You ask, you ask the divine, you ask God a question, you're gonna get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be the answer that you want, but there's the answer for you now. So what do you do with that now?
Mm-hmm.
How do you take that and apply it in your life to bring joy, expand, unfold, unleash the qualities that we have inside of us?
Mm-hmm.
Be this radiating being, expressing the face of divinity. Right? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, y'all, you are the foundation of everything. It's about you. Work on you, change me, change yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else around you will change.
So you were talking about, I want to go back just a little bit. You were talking about creating those boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask like a twofold question.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and move into the realities of a career, money, and survival. But I want to talk about the boundaries that you had to have in place in regards to being a disciplinarian and a nurturer, and as well as what did fatherhood and how did fatherhood force you to grow emotionally and in what ways?
Oh my gosh, this is a big question,
I
boy.
know.
That's this is a heavy hitting question. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's break this down and unpack it. So, start with the first part of your question again, because I want to make sure try to hit on every.
So I was asking in regards to boundaries and how did those boundaries show up in regards to being both a disciplinarian and a nurturer?
Ooh, the boundaries is what I learned. So, boundaries and disciplinary for my daughter, right?
Yes.
Okay, we discipline looks different for everybody. And it got to a point, this was shown to me actually through my mom, and it was through having multiple kids, my mom and dad, and they, all these kids. And I'm like, here's a question. I said, Mom, like, you got all these kids. I remember having this conversation with her one day. We were in the kitchen. I was just standing there talking to her. And she was like, I had to learn each and every single last one of you all. each of you is different in your own way. Some of you need to be disciplined this way. Some of you need to be talked to this way. I can recall on, and to fast that to answer your question, I can recall on one hand how many spankings that I got. I wasn't the type of child that needed to be spanked.
Mm-hmm.
Communication. You sit and we talk. That's how I learn. And guess what? My daughter is the same way. I spanked my daughter twice in her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat and I thought about it. I'm like, and I heard about my siblings getting the skin ripped off them. And I was like, I'm like, I don't believe that you have to beat a child to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm.
that's a form of discipline that doesn't work for me. But talking to my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
like, let me talk to you. This is how I'm going to discipline you. And when I found out the formula that worked, it worked. Hey, baby girl, one of the things that I never wanted to do with my parents, and I did it every blue moon, just not with grades or whatnot, but just being a PK out
Mm-hmm.
kicking in. I never wanted I never wanted them to be disappointed in me.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I remember, because I was kicking, I was like 15, 16, I was out getting it in.
He was
And
in the world.
I was in and of it. Uh,